Grounded 2 is here, and just like the backyard, Brookhollow Park is filled with interesting surprises and plenty of secrets. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and here's everything I wish I knew sooner about Obsidian Entertainment's newest action survival game, Grounded 2. When it comes to our Wish I Knew Sooner videos, the goal is simple: teach you as many interesting tips and tricks as we possibly can. However, if you're new to the game, you might want to start with our Ultimate Beginner's Guide, which walks you through everything a new player might need to know about the game. If you played the original Grounded, then you might be familiar with this tip, but it holds true in Grounded 2, and dare I say, might be even more important this time around. Brookhollow Park is massive, and there will be times you'll need to revisit areas to farm resources or to progress through the story. My advice is to, the first time, bring materials required to construct a lean-to and a trail marker. Lean-tos allow you to set a quick respawn point, which can be helpful, especially if you're going into a dangerous area, whereas trail markers allow you to quickly add a visual indicator in the game and on the map that you can customize and name based on your needs. This is a great way to mark things like rare resources, points of interest, or really whatever your heart desires. It's a quick 1-2 punch that makes a big difference over the long haul, and something we recommend you get in the habit of doing. The OmniTool is your key to survival in Grounded 2, but you first need to unlock and then upgrade each tool to maximize its usefulness. Within the first half hour of the game, you'll find your first Omninant base and unlock the Omni Axe, which allows you to chop down grass and weed stems, but this is only the first step to your survival. Quickly after this point, the world will open up to you, and you'll have the option to roam throughout Brookhollow Park, but don't lose sight of your OmniTool. Your first priority before building a big base and getting your first buggy should be to unlock all of the different OmniTools, the Omni Hammer, Omni Shovel, and Omni Wrench. This will allow you to harvest all Tier 1 resources, which in turn allows you to upgrade your OmniTool further. In order to harvest Tier 2 resources such as lingonberries and spicy candy, you'll need to upgrade your OmniTools, and this should remain a top priority until the task is complete. You'll need resources like blueberries and pine needles to make this happen, but lucky for you, we have a video revealing the location and recipes associated with 10 of the rarest and most lucrative resources found throughout the park. Bring the necessary resources to the ranger station when you're ready to upgrade your tools and make the investment. Every tool you upgrade unlocks more resources for you to harvest, which in turn opens up new blueprints and recipes, all furthering your progression. Grubs make their triumphant return in Grounded 2, and they're more important than ever. Just like in the first game, you'll need to dig up these plump white bugs using your shovel. Keep your eyes peeled for small patches of brown dirt that are moving across the surface of the ground. This means one of two things: either it's a tasty grub, or a hostile larva trying to fool you. To identify which type of bug it really is, all you need to do is listen. If you reach the dig spot and all you hear is a slight rustling, then it's a grub. But if you hear a much louder rustling sound, it's a larva. I'm not gonna lie and say larvae are the most challenging enemies in the game, but farming for grubs can be a slightly annoying pursuit, and the last thing you'll want to do is stop and constantly kill other bugs, so keep your ears peeled and make sure you're only digging up what you need. Buggys are a new feature in Grounded 2, and if you want to know how to raise and hatch either a red soldier ant or orb weaver spider, then you'll need to find their eggs. Red soldier ant eggs can be found most easily within the nursery anthill located just northwest of where you entered Brookhollow Park. This is a relatively large and winding underground area filled with hostile soldier ants, so you'll want to bring some decent armor, weapons, and plenty of torches. Follow the red and white wire all the way to the hatchery room and loot one of the orange eggs on the ground. Orb weaver eggs can be found in a few different spots, but two of my favorite are underneath the headless burgle in the central part of the map, or underneath the lamppost slightly northwest of that location. In both spots, you'll need to fight off a number of spiders, including full-sized orb weavers, so be sure you're ready for that challenge. In order to incubate and hatch either buggy, you'll need to find the optical disc hidden somewhere in the park, and then unlock the corresponding upgrade at the science shop within a ranger station. The red soldier ant buggy becomes available after finding the optical disc in the snack bar anthill, and the orb weaver buggy becomes available after beating the final boss of early access, which we won't spoil here. Buggys are easily the best thing about Grounded 2, and both the red soldier ant and orb weaver spider are great companions for getting around Brookhollow Park. You might think controlling them directly is the best way to utilize their enhanced combat capabilities, but we actually found that to be the least efficient way to take advantage of their uniqueness. Buggys actually make for incredible tanks, holding the aggro of enemy bugs while you deal damage from the side, behind, or from afar. This single-handedly made me more confident in my ability to fight because I was no longer having to rely on my 1v1 dueling skills to help me overcome the game's challenges. Instead, I could utilize my Buggy as a tank and sink enormous amounts of damage into an enemy without ever getting in harm's way. Buggys not being controlled by the player are far more likely to block enemy attacks, and while they certainly can still get hurt and knocked out, it's a much more efficient way to utilize your bug companions. If your Buggy is hurt, I've got another helpful tip for you. Quickly send them back to their nest and then withdraw them. When they come back, they'll pop out instantly at full health. If you still haven't unlocked your first Buggy, check out our Red Soldier Ant Buggy Guide, which walks you through everything you need to know to secure your first mount. If you're playing in Grounded 2's survival mode, then building a sturdy base should be at the forefront of your mind. As you progress the main story, something happens, which we won't spoil here, and waves of bugs will start periodically attacking your base, and there are a few things you should consider to give yourself the best chance of success. First is to elevate your base off the ground, building on a natural resource like a rock. This allows you to create a simple choke point, making it much harder for enemy bugs to attack your base from all angles. You'll also want to be strategic about where you place your base. It should be easy to get in and out of your base and quickly to the resources that you need. You can't be close to everything, so prioritize being closest to the resources you'll use the most. You'll also want to craft 1 or 2 acorn turrets early and place them on slanted roof tiles that angle towards the ground. This gives you a much better view of the ground, and when a dozen bugs are rushing you from all sides, you'll be glad you have better visibility. Be careful not to expand your base too quickly either. Chests, for whatever reason, only pull within a certain radius, so if you build a wide, sprawling base, you'll need to be more careful with how you position workstations and storage containers like baskets and chests. You'll also want to keep in mind that grass blueprints are just the intro building material. The bigger the base, the more resources you'll need to spend upgrading each piece either to stem, pine, or thatch in the future. Finally, make sure to unlock the Omni Wrench from the Ranger Station. Most likely, this is the last thing on your mind, but you'll want to have this available before you start getting raided by enemy bugs. Currently, repairing pieces of your base costs no resources, and the last thing you want to do is replace entire sections of your base, so make sure you unlock this sooner rather than later. One thing you'll want to learn is how to optimize your production of refined resources. In some cases, early on, using the workbench to convert webs into silk and fiber into ropes is fine, but eventually you'll want to get smart about how to turn raw materials into their more refined version. Enter the spinning wheel, unlocked when you analyze web fiber. This humble little machine can convert 1 plant fiber to 1 crude rope, or 1 web fiber into 1 silk rope. That's far better than the 3-to-1 conversion rate if you were to use a workbench. Similarly, did you know that both blueberry and lingonberry chunks can be hung on the jerky rack, turning it into leather? This is by no means a short process, but if you get multiple workstations up and running, you can easily convert your raw resources into refined resources at a much better conversion rate. Considering there is a limited amount of blueberries and lingonberries on the map at any one time, this is a great technique to tap into if you want a greater yield. You can also apply some efficiencies to the ways you gather water. Dew catchers are a foundational workstation in the game, and if you build them close enough together in series, you'll be able to quickly gather water, but you can take this a step further. Using Intimidate on your Orb Weaver Buggy will cause all the water droplets in an area to fall to the ground, and if they're close enough together, they'll merge and create a larger water droplet. This is a great efficiency because now it frees up the dew catcher to replenish the water. Using your canteen, you can scoop up that water on the ground and quickly transfer it to your water container for a fast and efficient water farm. Grounded 2 is a survival game, and as you might expect, you need both food and water to keep yourself alive. I wouldn't say it's the most intense system we've encountered, but the game's pretty clear when you're out of either resource and are about to die. One thing I found to be an absolute game changer was after I crafted the Scorching Orb, a new magical fire or spicy weapon in this game. If you attack any of the small insects that normally drop raw meat, like an aphid, weevil, or gnat with the Scorching Orb, it'll actually cook the meat in real time, instantly turning it into a consumable roast item. This is such a small but brilliant nuance to the game, and as someone that tries to maximize the time I stay away from base, having a way to instantly cook food is huge. Carrying a Scorching Orb essentially extends the time you can stay away from base indefinitely, making you now have a means to quickly access water and food while exploring. The Scorching Orb can be crafted once you've analyzed the Boiling Gland, which you can get from bombardier beetles found throughout the park. One of my favorite things about Grounded 2 are the new armor sets that all lean into one of 4 player archetypes the team has introduced. Now you can play as a fighter, a rogue, ranger, or mage, and enhance that playstyle with specific armor. Each piece of armor comes with its own inherent buffs, which you can either stack by wearing multiple pieces within the same set, or mix and match by wearing different sets. However, each set also has a set bonus, something that's not clearly defined from the top level of the player's UI. In fact, the only way to check the actual set bonus is by looking at the more detailed stat screens and hovering over the icon, which gives you more information about that set's bonus. You'll want to look through all of them when considering which armor to wear, because that bonus could be the deciding factor between one set of armor or another. Grounded has always leaned into the base building aspect of survival games, but they're truly evolving in Grounded 2, having certain elements of building a base synergize with the action survival experience. What I'm talking about is this. When building your base, assuming you've analyzed the corresponding bug parts, you can build wall mounts or stuffed bugs that you can then display around your base. Those aren't just for show, they actually serve a function, something you wouldn't actually know if you're not into base building. Wall-mounted bug heads can actually be interacted with, giving you a 15-minute buff that increases the damage against that specific bug. This is perfect for when you're specifically targeting a bug to farm. Better yet, if you have the corresponding stuffed bug, you can rub it for good luck, increasing the chance of getting parts from that specific bug. Given that you'll need to farm loads of parts, especially in multiplayer, this 1-2 punch is an absolute game changer when it comes to farming in Grounded 2. Tucked away in the far northwest corner of Brookhollow Park is a secret Omnit base, one that's clearly been ransacked. Inside you'll find the usual analyzer and ranger station, but you'll also find something unique, a dual workbench that allows you to customize your OmniTool and Scabby 2 based on the character you're playing. In order to complete the customization for both items, you'll need 1 roach head, 1 blueberry leather, 1 roach chunk, and 1 spine nub. But if you've been following all of our other tips, then those should be easy for you to obtain. Customizing your gear doesn't change its performance in any way, but it does change the way both items look, so while not functionally different, they're certainly more fashionable. So there you have it, everything we wish we knew sooner about Grounded 2. As always, if you appreciate the work that goes into making these guides, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, and consider subscribing. We'll have more Grounded 2 in your feed soon, so keep it right here and never miss a thing. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.